The years 1972 to 1978 marked a dark time in Illinois history. This period began with John Wayne Gacy's first murder. The house shown is the house of one of the most notorious serial killers in American history, John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy was born on March 17, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois. He was a businessman and community volunteer in the Chicago area. He created Pogo the Clown in 1975 to perform at children's parties. Pogo had sharp mouth corners, which is contrary to popular clown tradition because they usually frighten children. His activism in the community was one of the main reasons why he was able to avoid suspicion of being a serial killer. People were unaware that they were actually inviting a dangerous and unstable serial killer to be around their children. There was a total of 33 identified bodies linked to Gacy. 26 victims were found in the crawl space of Gacy's house. 3 were found elsewhere on the property, and 4 were found in the Plains River. When asked why he dumped the bodies in the river, Gacy replied that he was running out of room and couldn't dig anymore due to his chronic back pain.
As more and more of Gacy's known acquaintances disappeared, the police investigation intensified. Eventually, police brought in Gacy for questioning, where he stated that he wanted to, quote, clear the air. He informed police that he would abduct potential victims, mainly off the street, with promise of a job for his construction company, or lure acquaintances into the house and use force to keep them there. The victims would be bound or handcuffed, with clothing stuffed in their mouths. Gacy stated that he was inspired by the Houston mass murders. He made this confession on December 22, 1978. He falsely stated that his victims were teenage runaways or male prostitutes. The bodies of Gacy's victims were found, removed from Gacy's burial sites, and identified. The identification process was made extremely difficult due to the lengthy period of time between the victims' deaths and their discovery. The families of the victims were obviously devastated by Gacy's actions, and most of them fully supported executing Gacy. Their undying belief that he must be put to death inspired the nation to rid the world of an evil and dangerous man like Gacy and call for the use of the death penalty.
One of the only known survivors, Jeffrey Rignall, miraculously escaped the torture of Gacy. While fading in and out of consciousness due to a chloroform rag, Rignall remembered only bits and pieces of his capture. He recalls being in Gacy's black Oldsmobile, the Kennedy Expressway, and a particular exit. After waking fully clothed under a statue in Chicago's Lincoln Park, he went to the hospital to treat his skin burns, lacerations, and liver damage caused by the chloroform rag. Gacy was arrested on December 22, 1978. He was convicted and incarcerated at the Menard Correctional Center in 1980 and spent 14 years on death row. After the arrest of John Wayne Gacy, his house was demolished and the property was blessed. This was done to provide closure to the families and respect the memory of the victims. By destroying his house, a symbol of death and evil, the neighborhood families were able to know that his mark on the world was forever removed. The victims' families played a large role in the destruction of his house, and also were pro-death penalty. The final act of closure for the people of Illinois was the death penalty. After eluding the death penalty for 14 years, Gacy was finally sentenced for execution on May 10, 1994 by lethal injection. However, he didn't do so quietly. The chemicals used to perform the execution unexpectedly solidified, which complicated the procedure. After replacing the tube, the procedure began again, and Gacy was finally executed after 18 minutes. Due to this event, changes in the Illinois death penalty chemical procedure were made. John Wayne Gacy showed no remorse in his actions, reflected in his last words, "Kiss my ass." Pogo the Clown will live in infamy as one of the most notorious serial killers in American history.